Okay, good morning. It's April 22nd. Let's hop over here and look at the S&P 500. I'm a little late here this morning. Apologize about that. The market opens here in a few minutes. So I'll give you a couple of things here right out of the gate, and then we can talk a little bit about bigger picture scenario. Okay, so yesterday we had the high here at 67 quarter. Overnight we have the high 67. Yesterday we said that 53.50 was a breakout for 65, and overnight, where did they come back to test? 53.50. Okay, so today one of the more important things to remember is that likely, at least to start off here, we're in a bit of a range. Now, that doesn't mean that we can't see a new all-time high, okay? That's not what being in a range means. So let's talk a little bit about that. So important things here. They're going to need to take out the 67 quarter, the 67. They're going to need to take that out, okay? These prediction points, this should be no surprise for anybody who has been around here for a while. These have been, this is a cluster here with these two. And so this is a consolidation area. And notice what happened overnight. We've consolidated right in between, basically right around these prediction points, okay? And then we had this move here. So this move here, this move here, this move here, broke above it, came back, traded through here, came back and tested, came up here, tested right here. These things have been absolutely used and abused here this morning, and it's been unsuccessful in getting a push up higher. Now, not to say that the open can't do that and can't get us that push, but I'm looking at right here, maybe a tick lower, the 63 quarter area. That I know that's really high, it's really aggressive, but that better hold for higher. Otherwise, there's quite a bit of room, and we'll have to see. Again, things can change right on the open, but we could get more of this. So it's not to say it's a one-way flush or something, but there's plenty of room down lower. So if they don't break out, then we'll talk about that. But as long as this, kind of have been staying in this whole range. So I don't love anything in this area. These have been kind of used and abused a whole bunch. I'm not crazy about anything there. That's me personally. Maybe we see this midpoint um, kind of hold. That's possible. I think 60 area is the midpoint between these. I wouldn't normally do this on these small ranges like this, so 59, 75, 60, something like that. Maybe that holds, but we're really kind of like desperate at this point, kind of trying to hold on to something here to see what if anything could get us another push up. So if they break that up above there, there's a couple of things we probably want to watch for. Let's see. So this first push is 38% above here between these. 67 quarter is 50%. This is just something I'd keep an eye on if they got up here, that 70 quarter. But ultimately, what we should see is up, let's see, around the 76 to 79 area. Let me show you actually. Let me just draw these in here. So take, I'm going to put these on here. We'll just go to the open. So they're getting some pretty decent selling right now. So, oh yeah, so let's talk about that. Sorry. So if they, so over here, some pretty decent selling. At this point, ideally they would break down below here, but what we're really looking at that would be ideal would be taking out these KPs and at least coming back and testing this 40 quarter and maybe even somewhere down into this midpoint, something like that. So much below this CP is So we have kind of, let's say, two different ranges right now. We have this range that we've been in overnight from 5350 up to 67 area. But this is just so close to it. Oh, let's see. Yeah, both of those really got tested. So again, another consolidation cluster here. So we'll see. It doesn't mean it consolidates the first time. It could have been that the consolidation already played out when it traded over here. But when it comes back to it a second time, it could consolidate then. So if it came down to it, if it ripped off of it, or if it ripped through it and came back to it one way or the other, we could see consolidation play out through there. Okay, so that's kind of the first zone, and then the second range starts to extend out a bit down to this down here, maybe even down to the CP. But below that CP, things start to really open up back down into here and even all the way down into like 4810 area. And then below that, it probably opens up for down into this midpoint, and then we would have to see beyond that what things would look like. Over here, let's see. So a couple of things. Let's draw this in for you. This is exactly what I was saying before the open, that there's just not a whole lot of anything in here. I don't see a whole lot of institutional traders wanting to trade in here, given all the trading that it traded in this range all night. If somebody was really crazy about buying it, I think they would have, bought it in here and pushed it to a new high in Globex. But that was unsuccessful. So if they take out yesterday's, or if they take out this 5350, we do have to watch this area. But ultimately, we're looking for back to 40 area if they can break down here. And that should be the scenario that plays out. But this thing's been on such a one-way rip for most of the time that you just have to be a bit cautious and take it one step at a time. Okay, so let's do a couple of things. So let's take, yeah, let me just check where these are real quick. So we're going to take this KP here at 1:30 Pacific time, and we'll just go to 2:30. That's easy. Okay, so from 1:30 Pacific time, we'll take this KP at 1:30 Pacific time and do a ray. The shortcut for that for me, unless you've changed it, it's F3 in NinjaTrader. Actually, sorry, it's 1:25 Pacific, and then go out to 2:30 at 73.50. Like, yeah, about like that. Okay, so those change a little bit. So about like that, right? So there's that, and then there's this one just up above it a little bit. Actually, let me do this. And I'm gonna draw it. I'm going to put it on all charts, apply. Okay, so there you have it. So actually it goes from, we'll come out here to the open to give us a little bit more time to get it accurate. So out here at 640, and we want it to be right there at 75.75. Okay, so these are almost running parallel here. So let's see. Yeah, so there's 70. Oh, let's see. 730. Okay, great. And then this one, yeah, so those, and you can probably leave this one. It's been pretty reliable. It might be a couple of ticks off, but it gives you a good idea. And then up above that, Let's go look at this one. So this one's actually something that we can draw in between the prediction points. And so let's get rid of this one over here. And then let's draw this way. So from this CP, that's at 2350 my time. It meets the KP at 850. Okay, so we're going to go from here at 2350 Pacific time up to here. It's going to go to 850. It's actually 847 depending on how exact you want to get. So like that. That's going to be close. Okay, likely it'll be close enough. And then this is what we really need to pay attention to today. So there's a couple of things. If they start to bring this back up higher again, then what we need to be paying attention to is, can they get back up above here, and then breaking this, wherever this is, if it gets there, wherever that is. This is sort of the second range. So the first range up here is up here to this 67 quarter area. Above that, the range is like up into here, wherever those are. Above that would be up into here. There's plenty of room for buying this up into here if that starts to happen. And above this, things start to get really wild, and even up to here is not impossible. That would probably not all be for today. I've remained skeptical of this move up yesterday. I said in our map service, I said it probably puts the selling on hold for a little while if they were to break 5350. But then we talked about 65 and then 67 area up here. And it's just not at all impossible. So here they're testing 54 again. It's just not at all impossible that we come back and test that 40 area. So we'll see how that all plays out, but could be that they come on a bounce, just to give you an idea of what would ideally hold in this range at this point. Ideally, they wouldn't come up any higher than this like 63, 63 quarter area. So just probing through this CP just a little bit if they come back up there. So this range is broken, but I said we have these, so got to pay attention to that. Okay, so there you have it. So hopefully that gives you something useful here today. And again, couldn't take out yesterday's high so far. Some decent pullback likely to happen here. There's the KP getting tested to the tick. So maybe some bouncing. We'll see. Again, still a range scenario. Okay, probably not a day to go crazy thinking, at least to start off with. If things start to break one way or the other, there's some pretty decent buying coming in here. So when this happens, just as a little bit of a tip, from my experience, when you see, this is a 5-minute chart, when you see a wick like this on a 5-minute chart, if it were to retrace this whole wick and break that, it starts, to me, that gets really weak. And, you know, we could probably go down to that 40 area almost immediately if that were to happen, like on the next candle, and it retraces this whole thing. Oh, it's probably lights out down to 40. So what I'd like to see at this point is a bounce back up into this, anywhere up into here, 58, 60, you know, this 61.75, 63, 63 quarter area, something like that. And I'd like to see that hold for lower. If not, then back on the table for that move back up into 76, 78, and we'll just have to see. So look, I don't have a crystal ball. I'm just telling you the sort of the scenario here. I don't think that yesterday's push up was any kind of a reversal back up, at least not yet. And if they break yesterday's high, things start to change just a little bit. But still got to get through 76 and 78 area, those trend lines that we drew in. So we'll go from there. So hopefully that's helpful. I'll be back doing the review video today, and just trade it again one step at a time and go with what the market gives you. Okay? So we'll see you in the review video. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you later today.